very new to this game. Pretty sure people can't join me while I'm on version 45. Also, let's crank up that volume. That's good enough. We could do experiment. Alright, so I guess I should start explaining on how this strange little exploit works. So for whatever reason, whenever this ladder enters this red cabinet, and I guess when you try to edit the position where you want the cabinet to go to, I think there's some weird coding error, I guess, that technically the ladder is deployed. I don't really know much about coding, so that's that. But I guess to explain this little exploit, it can give you, I guess, decent vertical movement and good horizontal movement, which is pretty evident right here to show you. Not to be confused with the teleporter one, but I think the teleporter one has a more client base more than host base. But this one's anybody can do it on this version, but obviously it's patched, can't be done on a later version other than 45. So what is useful about this exploit? For starters, these walls you see right here, for whatever reason, the game will just allow you to clip out of bounds. So you can just basically fly and gain all this crazy vertical movement, and probably just done seen it. There's already a hoarding bug, so you can kind of just get a good landscape of what you're up to. And I already saw the apparatus, so I might as well just try to get it and, you know, not fall to my death, because it's a pretty dangerous exploit to do. Usually this exploit would allow you to glide over things, but so far that's not happening, and it's a very odd bug. I don't think not many people know about it or have, you know, or at least attempted to exploit it and I guess explore its capabilities. But It's not that bad, but again, its uses is kind of, in my opinion, very up in the air, depending on how you use it. And if you wanted to stop gliding, I guess, you could just flip the ladder, and it'll just teleport you back to the main entrance. Besides the flipping out of bounds and getting a cool overview of what the whole seed generation is, the biggest downside to this is when it comes to carrying, nothing and you not being able to control your movement. But that can be pretty much solved by, putting the ladder in your hand, or, just crouch and look behind and press S, and that'll give you what you need. Guess the Bracken doesn't want me to play. That's awesome. But usually, and I usually remember this correctly, that you would normally glide, not really float. So I'm not too sure if that's new, or this is the exact 45 version of Lethal Company. Because I'm pretty sure maybe there was a patch out for 45 that made you glide. I don't know, because this exploit kind of behaved very differently last time I remembered. But also hopefully I have enough time before the dogs or worm comes out. I believe the ladders also act very differently, because you can see it's having trouble moving up vertical. And I guess if I even tried to interact with the ladder here, it'd still be the same thing. Which is nice, I guess. If you think it might be nice, I don't know. And experimentation. You can clip into this door if you wanted to. Although there's not really much in here other than some empty rooms and some interesting little things that the developer probably wanted to go with for the game. It was pretty interesting that Seekers could have had like a very different idea of what Lethal Company would have been. So that's cool. And obviously you could enter from here and enter out if you wanted to. I guess my favorite part about this exploit is just the clipping, just gaining all the height you want. Because all you'd have to do is just do this little trick, and well, you're pretty much safe. Although the movement is a bit wonky, not very safe, but it gets the job done. And another thing too, like I mentioned, that the ladder thinks it's deployed, hence why there's a collision right here. But I'll go to the next moon and probably showcase it a little bit further. Hopefully there won't be any modifiers, I hope. And just to show you that it's still deployed even after you leave. What I want to show is behaviors when you pick up, you know, let's say two-handed items, heavy objects like your axles, your engines, and whatnot. Because they behave very, very weird. Well, that's easy. So, this is the axle, or I mean engine, and the way it behaves is very, very crazy. Again, you get this crazy movement, which is very random. And last I remembered, the engine was a little bit more easy, or these two-handed items were a lot more easier to control. Last I remember when the official release of the version was out. But I'm gonna try and get more items so I can show another one. I think it's the shovel, which strangely enough also acts as a two-handed item, but is considered a one-hand. I guess the coolest thing about this is not taking that ladder up there to fire exit, which is pretty useful. Probably best to just keep it anyway. And I will say the downside of this is, well, having your view model kind of, or your field of view being covered, which isn't very useful. And again, you could do the same thing here if you wanted to take the apparatus. You could just do that. And if I'm not mistaken, these little things right here that hangs on the ceiling, apparently they also have collision. So pretty interesting. And also interesting is the above, which I've seen that one before. So I'll just clip out of bounds real quick. Hopefully I don't get caught by a fucking kraken, hopefully. Just peek over and see what's there. Hopefully I'll find the room with the two lockers in it. Cool. And I guess the cool thing about this is that of course the game has troubles in spawning loot in out of bounds area where players aren't really normally able to get it. I think this usually happens to Rend as well, which kind of stinks. But you notice how the bottle here isn't also giving me that same effect. Well, that's because if you take a look at where my hand's being placed, it's considered a one-handed item. Now, axles, engines, apparatus, anything that, you know, requires your model to take up, you know, two of your arms for whatever reason, it just decides to, you know, like, hey, let's just give you this ridiculous speed for whatever reason. And you can also see the door here out of bounds, which is pretty weird. But as far as I know about this exploit, Pretty unique. I think I ever, would have thought of discovering it by accident. But, I don't know. I feel like it could be used for good speedruns, or I don't know. Still a pretty niche thing. I guess if 4 people were to, do it at the same time, I would imagine getting more items would be a lot more efficient, a lot quicker. Wouldn't really struggle as much, because everyone's just gonna be flying above the map and just looking over and seeing if there's any loot. That's about it. Pretty simple little exploit. Not too crazy, I guess. But it's been patched already, so if you're trying to do it with the newer versions, I'm pretty sure Zeke done patched that out. So yeah. I will say that one downside about this is, you're not, of course you don't know where the hell you're going, so you could just run into, a giant, eyeless dog, or something worse, you know. Cool. So, this is the first, I guess, narrative video that I'm only trying to experiment with. I figured this would be a first start to, I guess, explain this exploit in detail. So, hopefully it was a little bit informative. So, I mean, I would like to take this exploit further and showcase it on Ren, but I don't think I really want to do solos and go through hell trying not to die and lose all that stuff. So I think this is a good stopping point to, I guess, showcase that exploit in a narrative perspective. So, ciao.